Maybe, if we're lucky, it won't explode.
Explosions. It's part of the YouTube experience.
It is. I heard the tablet in the kitchen go bing bing.
Yeah, we're live.
That's horrifying, man.
Insanity!
It's destroying all my illusions, and I'm still trying to get used to this new window decoration because it's so big, but it's not really big at 4K or UHD, but I know it's big. I know if I put it like 1080p or 1440, it'd be massive.
Well, that happens when you make fonts big.
Well, this one's supposed to like do all the fun stuff and make things legible, because the other one I use is like wicked thin, like razor pixel thin.
Yeah, that's what all the ones I use on laptops in the netbook.
Mm-hmm.
Teeny tiny. Can I read the title? Yes, then that's fine. But actually, on these screens, it's normal sized, I guess. It's still pretty small compared to the typical GTK 3 window title. That title bar. It looks horrible.
Yeah, that's going to be one thing I'm looking forward to with building the new... Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Hi.
Welcome to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays. This is a pre-show where we're just kind of talking about building a new box of business. I'm kind of looking forward to not looking forward to going to a non-LTS, but getting some of that 413 XFCE.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to move out of the LTS. You just have to risk the PPA with the upgraded GTK.
Yeah, with the GTK, glibc. Right, so might as well just do a clean install.
Well, if you want to talk size, it's going to be a relatively small update and relatively small amount of work to get everything back to work, assuming anything breaks.
That's why I'm doing it on a new box, man. We're not doing Frankenbox. The box has to work.
I have been using the non-LTS on certain things that have been getting benchmarked. I also had to... Well, I basically just imaged the Solus install I have on my laptop and replace it with Ubuntu 17.04 because that's the same version. And just so I can get as good a comparison, as fair a comparison, I guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because, the hardware is different, but it's, the OS is the same, and given everything else is sort of the same, it's a good hardware comparison.
Hello, Joe.
Hey, Jill. I remember when I used to switch to development release whenever a new version was released. Well, then you're already 2 alphas late on 17.10.
Let's see. Your entire mindset changes when it's like doing system administration at home.
Yeah. What do I want to be supporting all the time?
So, I don't know how many people. I would probably switch distributions before I would call Canonical's like helpline.
The thought never really occurred to me. It's Linux. You want support, you go to Google.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe like maybe that's the first thing you say when you pick it up. You're like, "Listen, I've already Googled this."
Look, I spent the last half an hour on Google, and I'm stuck. Then they may go, okay, so what exactly is the issue?
Let's see, I got to hotkey. Boop. So you are going to be...
Oh, I don't know, Strider. Updates, security updates. for one.
Who needs security updates, man?
Yeah, all those people running 1204 servers still supported. We'll end support on the 1204 is already over. 1404 still supported. Yeah, kind of the kind of box you don't want to touch all that much, and as long as it works, it works.
Right.
Yeah. So if you can make it work slightly better, just teeny tiny performance improvements, or make it safer, because there was this really mean exploit in the kernel that allowed remote privilege escalation, which actually it's been a while since that happened. Heartbleed was the last time. You call them servers. Those are servers. That's possibly the most common use for the LTS, unless you need your computer to work reliably. Say, have it shipped from Portugal to the UK and just plug it in and it still
you're
works.
right, man. I mean, there's been multiple studies that have shown that LTS increases the structural fidelity of cases.
Yeah, but yes, it's something is wrong with the Steambox though, because it's not the Steambox itself; it's the 750 Ti, which when you turn it on after it's been off for a while, it makes a stupidly loud fan noise. It's like the fan is going at 100% the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And the system won't boot because the GPU will just prevent it from actually posting. So you turn it off. You either hold down the power button or reach for the switch on the power supply. Turn it on again. It starts doing the exact same noise like the fan is at 100%, but after about a minute, the system boots normally and works just fine. Anyone have any ideas?
Yeah, just give it a bath.
I've cleaned it. I have basically pulled everything outside of the case except for the motherboard and the processor from the socket. I don't know. I honestly do not know what the hell, because sure, if it was an actual issue, chances are it wouldn't do that by just, me power cycling the box and then cutting it back on. It wouldn't fix it, right?
So it actually shuts down? Or?
No, it doesn't shut down. I have to shut it down because if I just let it run on that first boot, it won't ever post.
But on the second boot, it does.
Hmm?
Then you just power it down, let it sit, then boot it back up.
Yep.
But it does that reliably?
Yeah, every single time.
Then I'm not seeing a problem here.
If I didn't have to turn it off, turn it back on again every time I wanted to turn it on.
What I'm trying to say to you, there's this thing is something being reliably broken.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but I'm one of those idealistic fools that expects hardware to work like it's supposed to. Go figure.
See, it wouldn't even faze me because back in the day, I used to slam so many IDE drives, and this is 1,000-watt power supplies didn't exist back in the AT days, and you had to double clutch the box to get it to cut on. You had to hit the power. It didn't have enough power to boot everything, but it had enough power to get all the drives kind of spinning. Then you had to tap it again to get it.
You had to tap it again while the drivers were still spinning, so it would need that extra kick.
You tapped it again because the drives were you didn't do that initial load, but then that would be enough to power up the system. That was a thing, man.
Oh no, this box right here was enough to flip a breaker whenever I turned on the power strip. Mm-hmm. The power strip with the surge protection. it's got a little switch, and every night or whenever I shut off the box, I turned off the power strip, went about my business. If I forgot to unplug either the the PC itself or one of the monitors, it would flip one of the breakers. It's just like dunk. Okay.
I don't normally like with this box. 9 times out of 13, it boots normally, but every now and then it'll have the issue like it's either it's USB devices, because every time I go through the log, you get to the USB section and it just starts having aneurysms. It's somewhere
you can see the USBs
right.
just scrolling behind Plymouth.
You know, with all the DACs we have plugged in here. It's either that or the Exclude controller, and it just goes, it just taps out. It's like, here's the emergency console. So you got to walk in and you're like, oh, that didn't cut on because I normally make tea and all that. And I can give it a Vulcan nerve pinch, Control Alt Delete, and it'll normally get it on the second go. But that's like I said, that's reliably broken.
The only thing that's reliably broken on this box that only happens at boot is this keyboard. Never had this issue with any other keyboard. Now that I have one with mechanical Cherry MX red switches,
you people are worse than Arch users. All you have to do is be like, I got a clicky keyboard. It's like, no, actually, I got a particular clicky keyboard with this particular type of switch up in it, man.
This one, yeah, the reds aren't particularly clicky. They're about as clicky as a typical membrane keyboard.
But still, that's extra information. People don't need the types of switches in your damn keyboard, man.
But yeah, I honestly don't know what causes it, because it'll boot just fine. And I get to the login screen, and I go to type my password, and every other row of keys doesn't work. It's like you get Q, get the QWERTY line.
Man. All I'm hearing is that your keyboard came with a free built-in hard mode.
And the ZXC line and the F keys, those will work, but the number keys, the ASDF row, and the Control Alt Space, etc., those won't work. I don't know why, but it's as easy as reaching for the USB connection, unplugging it, replugging it. Oh, look, it's working again. Cool. So now this keyboard is plugged on top of the desk to the 7 USB 2.0 powered hub. So I can reach it whenever it does this, just unplug, replug. But it's pretty rare too. It doesn't do it every single time. It's like once in a while.
That was one of the things that because I finally hooked up Empty, Jordan, and I, our UHD monitors. Have a powered USB 3.0 hub in it built into them, because of course they do. But yeah, I plugged the gerbil into that. You see the problem on the monitor, because I set my monitors to power off.
So does the USB 3 thing.
Yes, and so does my gerbils. It's wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I was like, oh man.
Now you gotta hit the keyboard.
Right. Then you're playing the game. I don't know about you, but I was playing. I was like, oh shite! What do I have open? What keys are dangerous to press right now? Because usually when I get up, I'm rendering something. Something's working, and I was like, I don't want to stop it, because a render job could be an hour and a half down the drain. So yeah, we've settled on the right arrow button.
Yeah, the cursor keys are usually fine. Let's see. Home is also pretty harmless. Page up, page down, those only do the scrolling. Yeah. Unless you have some really weird bit of software that uses like the numpad plus minus times divide operators. Because it's usually the one I press, because it's the furthest key to the right is the numpad minus. Whenever I want something to not go to sleep, my muscle memory just goes tick. Okay. So I never bind anything to that key.
Wow. I'm trying to figure out how you things type on these regular keyboards. Because I moved it on the desk to save space, and I still have my other keyboard. It's still plugged in, but yeah, because my other one's a big giant split one, and it's me sized.
I see.
Yeah,
I think
I can hold this one like
split-
a mobile, man.
I typed on a split keyboard once, twice.
Oh, it's so good. My fingers are all smashing.
I didn't enjoy it.
Well, it works for me too, I guess, in a way, because it's another deterrent to keep people off my computer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. But then again, most people just look at. I know from experience, we had friends over at our apartment when I first moved in. Wouldn't worry. That apartment we had friends over relatively regularly, and people would look at my PC because it was, in the living room. I was like, "You have 2 monitors? Yeah. Did you get confused? No. In fact, I could use another one. Why?
All the damn time." Just run out of the room screaming. It'll be brilliant, man.
And then they're like, "Can I touch your play around with your computers?" Sure. I'd unlock it. It's like, what can't I touch? Do you know anything about Linux? No. Okay, see the icons there? Pretend that's Windows. That's all you need to know. Okay. Can I do like a
Listen
an
to you,
incognito?
man. It's like, can I play with your computer? Sure. Control Alt F1. Have fun. Just drop them into a TTY session, man. It's like, knock yourself out, man.
There, that's the core Linux experience. Have fun. No, I just told him, okay, you want to go check your Facebook, do whatever, right click on the Chrome icon and pick Start Incognito Window. I said, have at.
All right. Well, I'm going to go grab a tray.
I need a refill. Yes.
And
So go grab your drink. I'll get refill after you do.
All right. Seems legit.
Yep. All right. People will get confused when they press escape on my computers and it's actually caps lock. Is that an Azerty thing, Strider? Because one of my roommates in first year of university, he was basically his parents moved to France before he was born, and he then moved back to Portugal after he was already grown up, and he brought his own laptop from France. And the one time, it's like we were in the kitchen, we were just having a little LAN thing. Oh, it's because of Vim. Okay. All right. And we were in the kitchen, we were just doing a little bit of LAN thing, and he looks at me, he's like, "So you're into computers and whatnot. Have a look at my keyboard." And I look at his keyboard, it's like, oh, hello. Like, yeah, that's a weird thing, because in France, they use Azerty instead of QWERTY keyboards. I never really got that. It's like everywhere else it's QWERTY, unless you're using, either a bitmap UTF-16 font for most of your country, or you're using Dvorak. Admittedly, that was GNOME 3. That was GNOME 3, Mr. Red. So, yeah, that sounds like a reasonable response. Yes, because control is very convenient. Well, it is if you have a UK keyboard. Because the square bracket, the open square bracket is its own key. You don't need shift. You don't need any modifiers for it.
All the irregulars.
Yeah. Just have to learn how to hit control without using fingers. Alright, Ben's here. I'm gonna go get my refill.
It's an empty chair. Oh noes. Almost broke a finger thinking about what? Alright. That's an easy one to hit. Kvetz, that's a thing. Gonna have a big show for everyone. Oh, look at Pedro with his fancy button-down shirt.
There we go.
Just gonna get excited, man. It's gonna be a party at my house this evening.
Why?
Because I went to the store and bought Ritz dye. I'm going to be dyeing my black clothes. Because I live such a wild life now.
Did you get the Venta black one?
I don't. I just got, like, whatever. It's like, yep. We need to make all the black pants and shirts match again. And
yeah, I have a pair of jeans and a couple of shirts that could use that treatment.
Yeah, for $1.77, man, like every 6 months, it's a good way to, then you take them to Goodwill once they're actually worn out, not like multiple shades of gray.
Yeah, no, I have a shirt that it's never been dyed, and it's 8 years old. It's the oldest shirt I have. I like it. It's really comfy. It's relatively warm-ish if there's a bit colder outside. And if it's too warm, I just roll up the sleeves. But yeah, it's
rolling up sleeves on a long sleeve shirt, man. That's crazy talk. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Just
mine are rolled up, man. Mine aren't rolled up like that. Yours is that's rolled up to the point where I have to make fun of you on the street.
It's rolled up above my elbow, so I have full range of movement in my arms.
Good. Then you can wave back at me as I mock you mercilessly from across the street.
Okay, why would you mock me then? I didn't know this was a thing that people got mocked for.
I don't know. I'd probably just scream hipster and throw a fixie at you. I mean,
I'm not wearing suspenders.
Not yet, you're not. I'm sneaky, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things, because suspenders were kind of a thing in, 1986, 1987, growing up. They were kind of a thing. And I hated them. Every time my parents tried to put them on me, I would take them off immediately. So that's when they started giving me belts to wear. Good idea.
I do the belts, but I also have a couple of pair of the suspenders. But then again, you're talking to somebody who owns multiple cloaks. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm still trying to come to terms with the new switching.
Mm-hmm.
So,
is it working?
No comment. We'll address that at the end of the show.
That's the correct answer. Moving on.
Let's see. Speaking of that, I need to check. Okay, well, I guess that's just where it's going to record today, because I forgot to set it before we went live.
Suspender for guys like me with no ass to support their trousers. Belts, Chipsy. Belts.
Belts get stuff done, man.
Yeah.
Plus, if you don't have to roll quarters or knuckles or anything. Or if your last name's Carradine. That was horrible, Venn. Why did you do that? I don't know, Venn. I don't know. That wasn't appropriate. I apologize on behalf of you.
In behalf of absolutely no one gives a damn. I mean, when you do that to yourself, you gotta ask it for it.
It's a good way to become.
It's like those people who tase themselves. Yes, please do it again. That was very, that was very enjoying to watch.
I don't like tasers, man. I don't trust them.
I think I had one in my hand once, and I used it on like a little wooden board, and I saw the arc go by and actually burn the wood a little bit. It's like, cool. Passed it off.
Okay, so I didn't set up a cut shot. We'll just have to live with it.
Okay.
All right, why wear pants? I know. Norlin, I have no illusion, man. I am in my shorts.
I like pants. It's like the common thing on the internet is people get home and pants come off. No. I will take off my shirt before I take off my pants. The pants will stay on all day. I will walk around shirtless, but the pants stay on.
Pedro has smelly pants. Got it.
Don't. That's smelly feet. If I'm wearing sneakers all day, yes, I will have smelly feet.
Okay. Oh, 958. Oh, never mind. You won't see that. Got it. Note to self. How's that going to work out? We'll make it work. We'll learn. Okay, there we go.
Let's see. Just adjusting the windows for maximum brightness in my face, since the LED light thingies haven't arrived yet.
Everyone's ordering them. Jordan's ordered some too.
Yeah. They are cheap.
Right. It's one of those things where you just like, worst case scenario, I'm going to own them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I got a couple of USB extensions as well, so I could plop them around the wall.
Well, I was thinking about the USB extensions. It's like, okay, if I set everything up in here to prototype, where do I get the extensions? It's like, you dumbass, you spent a couple $100 redoing all your power outlets. All your power outlets have USB connectors on them. And I was like, that's right. Yoink, done. I can move this thing anywhere in the house.
Yeah. Well, I have the 7-port adapter sitting on my desk, so I have.
And people don't use them, by the way,
free.
even though every single socket in my house has USB chargers on them. People will pull out their cell phone charger and plug it into the wall.
They just assume it's like a screw hole. It looks very rectangular for some reason.
I don't say anything because I never want to be that guy, but I was like, come on, it'd be nice if somebody used them once. I mean...
Well, they probably don't know that's a USB port.
I'll make little tiny signs.
Yeah, if you put like a sticker with the USB logo right next to it.
Alright, let's get on with it.
Yes. At least Microsoft is at a Vulkan event. Of course they are. The X12 isn't going anywhere.
Okay. Wait. Are you going to start this off? You got the first one, so.
Sure. Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
People want the Flash sauce.
Fedora proposes going flat.
Get it is no longer maintained.
And the Raspberry reaches a new milestone.
Oh, yes.
All right, let's go. 3, 2. And welcome back to Linux Weekly, Daily Wednesdays, sitting back, taking that midweek break, talking about some of the fun things that we found going on. I'm Ben Stone, joined every week by this man over here.
Well, hello there.
This one, Pedro Monteas, still using
Yes.
the LTE, man. How's the how's that holding up for you, man?
If I could convince the fine people at Sky to actually come to my place and hook up the phone line properly, I already have the router. They already sent it to me. So, yeah, you just need to come and set it up. Come on, guys. Please.
Nah, man. Just give it a couple more weeks. Over here, not doing too much, but I did pick up a few of these little guys. What I'm holding up is the UBS stereo adapter from Vantech. And on the back of the box, system requirements actually list Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up two of these critters for the show, and they seem to not be on fire. So I think I'll definitely take
Have
them
you
on.
used them in production yet?
No comment until the end of the show.
Again, the correct answer.
Yeah, so, hey, man, somebody else is talking about some correct answers. Well, actually, man, they think they have the correct answer, and that answer is open sourcing Flash.
That's just a bad idea, and everyone knows it. It's just that some people haven't realized it yet. The story, this particular one, comes from Gizmodo, but it's been all over the internet. Seriously, just type Flash open source. There's tons of stories. Everyone's got their own take on it. And basically, it's everyone reacting to the fact that, as we mentioned last week, Adobe is killing Flash by 2020. So people are saying, okay, so if you're going to kill it off, give us the sauce. Let us fix it. And that, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's open source it. Reveal all of its shortcomings, the dirty hacks, the security pitfalls, and who knows what other fudgery Adobe loaded it with over the years, because this is Flash we're talking about. Just the moment they open source it, their stock price is going to drop. Every single website still using Flash is going to crash, burn. In fact, everyone who's using it before the community...
Wait. So let's think about it like this. Would you be open to Flash getting open sourced after it has been completely eradicated from the browser ecosystem?
If it has been completely eradicated from the browser ecosystem, at least to any significant degree, maybe, yes. But the way it currently still stands, even in its dying state that it's been in for the past, 4 years, 5 years, it is still very much a golden goose for ill-intentioned people on the internet. I say, in my opinion, let it die, burn the corpse, bury the ashes, salt the earth it was buried in, then grab a bulldozer, take that patch of land, and push it into a volcano. And just to be sure, ask Divine Providence to send a comet down into that volcano to make sure it's dead.
I absolutely. This is one of those rare examples, ladies and gentlemen, where Pedro and I both have valid points. And it's kind of terrifying. But what I'm really thinking about is, what about all of the exploits currently in use?
Yes, the ones that most people don't know about. Those would be immediately known by everyone or almost everyone. So it would be even worse. It would make that even worse before anyone could fix them. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, we're talking about two-decade-old technology that,
Yeah.
even its creators like, put it down. But no, we'll see. I mean, we're not going to know anything about that, and it's Adobe. Adobe's not going to do anything when it comes to open
Of course
source.
not.
No.
They're making way too much money out of the Creative Suite to do anything.
Okay, what do we have coming up next?
Up next, it's dead. It's dead, I tell you. Well, not exactly. Get it. It's no longer maintained, and this I kind of have to agree with Joey from OMG Ubuntu, because he says, he starts the article, it's like, Get It is the default text editor on Ubuntu and just about a bajillion other distros. I hate the word bajillion, but did you know that it's no longer maintained?
I hate to stop you. Yes, I winced when I read bajillion as well on that one. Yes. Okay. As you were.
And he kind of answers himself and says, I didn't until a reader mentioned it to me earlier today. Turns out that there are no active maintainers for Get It. Now, to be fair, that's not saying much. Consider, okay, everyone's used Get It. Chances are, if you're using Linux, unless you've had a really KDE-centric experience or a really XFCE-centric experience, at some point in your Linux usage years, you dealt with Get It in one form or another. So chances are you've seen that doesn't really need a whole lot of work. Sure, if someone finds a major bug or security screw up, it would be nice to get it fixed, but I'm willing to bet that even though it doesn't have any active maintainers, should that happen, someone's going to fix that. They probably won't become active maintainers just because they fixed it, but they will fix it.
Yeah, it's one of the things, man. I was looking at this and reading through. It's like, yeah, if anyone wants to pick this up, get ready for the nightmare fuel that is absolutely going to be part of your life for maintaining Get It. But yeah, it's definitely a baked piece of software. This is everyone's, I need something to type something in your first Linux experience for most people, not everyone, because I know it's Vim, no, Emacs. We're not talking about that.
Nano, just Nano.
I use Get It all the time for writing notes, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I remember the first time I pasted something, I was like, this thing does syntax highlighting. Done. We're going to be using this. I personally find myself using LeafPad a lot more nowadays, but I mean, what's your favorite text editor these days?
I've always been partial to Kate. I'm one of those. But I actually, when I first started using Crunchbang on the first netbook I had, it was an Asus EEE 1005HA, and the default text editor was Genie. I really like Genie, but I never really brought myself to install it unless it was installed by default. So yeah, it's mostly Kate nowadays.
Okay, so let's see. Coming up next, people have a particularly risky idea.
Yeah, to say the least.
All right. This project is going to create Linux laptops based on, we're not making this on PowerPC. What is PowerPC? Say it again. Its name again is PowerPC. The first two things, we got a new group that appeared with a goal of creating Linux computers based on PowerPC architecture, currently raising money, and are in the early planning. The question is, can they pull it off? And if they do, will it be worth it? So, yeah, here's the thing. To answer the first two questions posed in that article, one, probably not. And will it be worth it? Nope. It absolutely won't. If they pull this off, Pedro, if they pull this off, I'm kind of feeling that this would be the equivalent of a really big the Pandora gaming handheld console. It would be like a big version of one of those. It would be an oversized. What I mean by that is something that's wicked cool, very neat piece of kit, but ultimately too small a market for it to exist in any meaningful way.
Oh yeah, this would be an absolutely niche thing if they could pull it off. According to the article, there are currently 4,300 euros out of the 12,600 euro goal. That's a really low goal. You're not going to be able to do much of anything with just 12,000 euros if you're trying to.
Dude, they just want to build the motherboard right now.
Okay. Yes. No. Power 8. Yeah. No. Actually, speaking of Power 8. In the age of the Raspberry Pi and the modularity it offers and the amount of shells, laptop-shaped shells with touch pads and keyboards functional touchpads and keyboards included that you just slot your Raspberry Pi in, make the connections, and it's working. Why? Why are you making a Power PC laptop?
See, this is where I don't want to say anything negative, because somebody comes up to me like, hey, man, we really want to do a Power PC. That's kind of metal, all right? I could dig that for just the, oh, this is my Power PC laptop. And it's like, oh, that's cool. This is my clamshell MacBook that I bought for $4 on Craigslist. It's Power PC too. What'd yours cost?
Yeah.
It's a good idea, but, you know, and here's the thing. Yes, power, or reading through the article, like, yes, using IBM's Power Architect, that's not for desktop, sweetheart. That's not coming. What we will be seeing, I don't want to say in 10 years, because then it sounds like I'm talking about battery technology that's always 10 years away. I'm going to say within 5 to 7 years, we're going to have some type of ARM solution on the desktop that won't make it feel like you are sacrificing too much to get a full system. And a lot of people are trying to jump the guns. You know, they want to make the integrated, take your mobile, dock it, boom, and Bob's your uncle, and all that. And, you know, currently I already have an ARM laptop. It just doesn't have a keyboard. I call it a tablet.
Most of everyone does.
Exactly.
Shield tablet.
So,
and it's while you're at it, just make a laptop that's powered by RISC-V or Power 8 while you're at it too.
See, there's a problem though. When you say that, man, I'm just like, yeah, that'd be cool.
Power 8 laptop. Okay, admittedly, the neat factor on that would probably, the price would deter me completely, because you'd be looking at a $10,000 laptop that gets outperformed by a $200 Chromebook, at least in what it can run. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Power 8.
Well, I mean, not crazier things, because I definitely have a Sun Microsystems laptop with a Sabre architecture chip in it. So,
yeah.
I mean, those things have definitely happened before. What do we have going on next, man?
Up next, we have things that make you go crash, namely not having any swap in your box. So yeah, this is a blog post by Hayden James. He talks about why you should almost always add swap space, or here's an improved title, why you should always, drop the almost, add swap space. It's really, it's a discussion that every now and again you'll go into whatever Linux group you frequent, be it online or in real life. People are talking about swap and how much swap you should have, and what it's actually used for, because there's a lot of people who don't know, especially if they're new to Linux. So Hayden James actually gives you just a basic rundown of what swap does and why it's really neat. And then he goes into detail into every single advantage and most of the use cases where swap will often save your life. Not to mention those applications that, even though you have a lot of RAM, which most people do nowadays, you still could use that bit of swap.
Oh, yeah, you absolutely could. I mean, the first thing out of the gate, I remember learning way back in the dark ages with the early Red Hats and the Slackware, it's like, whatever you have for memory, double it. And there was that wasn't hard, man, because that was like, okay, so 32 megs. It wasn't that big, but hey, man, it's not way back in the dark ages anymore, because it's 2017 and storage is cheap. HDD storage, that's great. Even SSD is still cheap. NVMe, all right, it's still a little pricey. But here's the thing, Pedro. I mean, it's not like you get awarded extra Penguin points for not having swap enabled, okay? You don't get anything sent to you in the post. You don't get an extra gold star. You don't get a cookie. No, what you do get is your box dying a horrible quick death when you have something with a massive memory leak. Looking at you, Chrome. Looking at you, Motorbike the game. Jordan was all about that, because we have a recording of his box crashing while he had 16 gigs of RAM and I had 8. I was able to identify the problem before I went poof. But he does do a really good job pointing out that, you know, the Linux kernel itself actually likes having swap, and it will improve your box's performance.
It does.
Yes. So
even if it's on a really slow hard drive, because it it's the writes that those processes do in RAM are so small that even a slow hard drive can more than keep up with it, and yeah, you will get better performance with it because the rest of the system can be using the RAM at will, and those teeny tiny bits are just getting cached in and out of the swap space. That's useful. And okay, sure, maybe you don't, if you have 16 gigs of RAM, you don't need 32 gigs of swap. Usually 8 will be more than enough.
I mean, it makes a very good point. I mean, a lot of people might have been curious. You crack open top, you crack open HTOP, you see like maybe you're using like 1, maybe 2 gigs of RAM, and something's written like 100 megs to your spot partition. That's what the kernel's doing. It's looking for it. It's making use of it because that's what it likes to do. And yeah, that's definitely a thing. Hey, the High Council of Asgard, a project that he assists with on every Freyr. I believe he's been on the show once or twice, hasn't he?
Yes, Frezzo. Yeah, we had him on. We had him on a
Wednesday show that we do.
Yes, it was. I was trying to remember exactly when we had him on.
We were talking about music brains, meta brains, but this is listen brains, Pedro, which I brought up during the interview. Yes. I said, man, I can read one of your blog posts. For music brains and have no idea what the product is and or what it does. And man, they are true to form with this one. Help me understand it.
Well, Listen Brains is similar to Audio Scrobbler. If you don't know what Audio Scrobbler is, I don't blame you. I didn't either. Now, Audio Scrobbler is, according to their website, a database that tracks listening habits and does wonderful things with statistics for Last.fm. It's the Audio Scrobbler is the Last.fm proprietary database for listening habits. Makes pretty graphs with the stats it gathers. Everything else. Listen Brains is the same thing, but it's open. It's from the MetaBrains Foundation. We, like I said earlier, we had Frezzo on. He did talk about Music Brains for a little bit, and Listen Brains doesn't actually let you hear music. It gathers data on what people hear, and if you're someone who's really into stats for some reason, you can compile all that data and make some pretty graphics and make some pretty wild assumptions because these many people listen to this and these many people listen to that, and you can see the overlaps, and you can sort of...
If we're in an elevator and you're explaining this, I've already broken the glass and jumped to my death. So if you could summarize it in like a sentence, man.
It's the open version of Audio Scrobbler.
All right. See, I can work with that. But now what are they doing with this? They have some Last.fm integration, right? So
imports. This is part of the group of people that are working on Listen Brains. Some of them have Last.fm experience, and this will provide Music Brains with that same functionality that Last.fm does. So it'll give you better recommendations to music you would like to hear. For say you have your library all categorized in Music Brains, this will help you do everything, I guess.
Seems legit. Okay, we had a little bit of news this week that came up with the graphic stuff. Now, it's OpenGL, and they have a bunch of things with extensions.
Oh, yes. They have many, many extensions that are not currently associated with any point release or any OpenGL spec release.
Ooh, Spear V support. Sexy.
So they are actively trying to solve that, while at the same time bringing in new functionality through new extensions. And this is the big one. They are providing with OpenGL 4.6, you can use Spur V shaders, that's Vulkan shaders, with OpenGL. That's really neat. Remains to be seen what it will actually mean for applications and games using OpenGL 4.6. You don't even get all those many games using OpenGL 4.5. So we will have to see. Probably Feral will try and do some odd implementation of
That's
OpenGL 4.6.
kind of one of my questions. With the 4.6, and you have a very great point with a lot of games not using 4.5 right now. And that's kind of ignoring the Spock in the room, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because my first thought was like, okay, well, all right, let's be fair. There's something only like 9% of current mobile devices can support Vulkan.
But the rest of them don't use OpenGL specifically. They use GLES.
GLES. Will any of this be transferable? Or
honestly, they don't mention GLES at all in this post that I saw. There are a bunch of shared extensions between OpenGL and GLES. Of course, there are similar APIs, and one is built off the other, so of course. But they don't actually mention... they do mention one with sophisticated graphics applications will also benefit from a set of newly released extensions for both OpenGL and GLES to enable interoperability with Vulkan and Direct 3D. And they give you the list of extensions that actually let you do that. So that's a thing. I missed that when I first read it.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I think we're going to have to track down somebody smarter than us and bring him on the show to explain. Because I'm kind of reading over this and I'm looking at it. It's like, they're trying to maybe help people get from point A to point C with this, like a transition type.
It could be, or it could just be, say you already have something that's working in OpenGL, it would be a massive undertaking to change it to Vulkan.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, maybe you don't want to do all of that, but you want to use SPIR-V shaders. All you have to do is upgrade the OpenGL implementation you do have to support the 4.6 spec. Boom.
Do you have to install Windows 10?
No. No, this isn't DirectX 12. This is OpenGL.
All right. Up next, Krita. It's the art editor. It's kind of like GIMP if it had GIMP with a usable interface. Ooh, shots fired. I love GIMP. I've been using it since forever, man. Hey, the foundation actually had a little bit of trouble. They kind of messed up on their taxes because hashtag VAT, man. They ended up with like 19,000 euros. They owed the tax, man. They wanted them all. And, they were able to work it out. They definitely were able to work it out. But this post kind of explains, that tax bill was massive. They were able to get it reduced. And what kind of caused this, what lit them up in the beginning was, yes, they were, a non-profit, but they were also selling instructional books and stuff like that. But they managed to get it split out, and they got everything set up. They're like, okay, we're still around. That cost us a lot of money, and don't worry about it. But they made this post. When did this come out? This was yesterday. So today, they had a little bit of an update, man. The private internet access company of companies bought some goodwill with the Linux community and the open source community. They've sponsored Krita to the tune of £20,000, and the project picked up 9,562 euros in donations as of yesterday, and it looks like everything is back on track. They're looking at the release of Krita 3.2 soon and 4.0 later this year. And man, I'll tell you, it's always good to get a chance to report good news. Even if it started with bad news, because 24,000 euros, that's a pretty fat stack to pay for the slight mistake in the way you label your company and the way you handle a business. But then again, I'm not into the whole financial side, but yeah, they managed to negotiate it down to 15,000 euros, and then the accountant that helped them do that billed them for 4,000 euros. So that's how they ended up with the 19,000. But good on the guys from Private Internet Access for helping credits. Basically, we got you covered. There you go. Boom. It was also a thing, and now they said, hey, no one worry, because we're using the same wicked expensive tax people that the Blender Foundation are using. So.
Yep.
That's man, taxes, international taxes, stuff like that. That's just nasty business. And they don't care if you're a nonprofit organization. They just want their money because I'm government man sent by the government. Right.
And it was multiple governments because they are a Dutch company, and the developer they wanted to pay was Russian. So there was in Russia there is no VAT, or there is VAT, but there was no VAT for what he was doing specifically. You would never have to pay VAT, and it would have been fine if they were completely non-profit and they didn't offer those educational videos and books and whatnot. But they did. So the government man found a bit of a loophole to nail him with 15,000 euros.
You just never think about like the Dutch doing that. You assume like when you think of a Dutch tax person, you're like smoking a pancake, and they're all friendly and stuff. But yeah, they got audited, man. They came after him. I don't know, man. Probably do something to do with he who shall not be named. We're not quite out of the woods yet because flat packs. Nope, flat packs, baby.
Oh, yes. Before we get to Microsoft, we do have to talk about the Flatpaks because Fedora is actually... Let me see if I can open that link. No, I can't.
Flatpak and Fedora 27. Check it out. They want to do it. It's a proposal. It could be a welcome addition. I mean, it'd be a good way to see... Ultimately, what it would, I think it really would be, is a good way to see how RPMs and Flatpaks get along together if they can groove and chill out in the same house. That said, concerns have been raised about Flatpak distribution, channel, how they're going to distribute it, and the sandboxing, the security issues, air quotes around issues with Flatpaks. All I'm seeing, Pedro, is ideological differences over packaging formats turn out to be ideological because Vesco has unanimously approved this proposal.
Yeah, that's actually something you don't see every day, and it has been approved. It's going to be a thing. And if the whole universal package is going to become a thing, like Jono Bacon suggested a few weeks back, like Steam or Valve not so subtly hinted at with introducing Flatpak support for SteamOS, like everyone's been shouting, use Flatpaks if you just want to distribute something that will work regardless of distro. And here we have it. We need all the big distros to actively start adopting Flatpaks from default, obviously. And yeah, it's okay. Some of the issues they brought up, especially the sandboxing thing, it makes some sense because, okay, sure, RPMs don't have any sandboxing of any matter. They're just a glorified zip file that when it expands itself, it extracts itself to
I just want to take a minute. That's Pedro at linuxgamecast.com for next week. Okay.
Yeah, when it extracts itself, it sends all the files to the correct folders and pulls down all the necessary dependencies for whatever bit of software is in that package. Sure. The Flatpaks, they're different because they include everything that the software included inside needs to work. And, okay, sure, some libraries will already be in the Flatpak runtime, but it's a self-contained so long as nothing... As it doesn't use any system libraries at all, everything is contained within the Flatpak. That's a good sandbox. But there are things which they can't really work like that. Like, say, video games. If you have a video game, you need at least one library which you cannot contain inside the sandbox, which is the library that interacts with your graphics card. That needs to be a system library. So right then and there, you're breaking the sandbox. Now, sure, you don't hear about video game exploits a lot. Well, we did have one a couple of weeks ago with the Source Engine, but outside of that, one could make the argument that Flatpaks are a very good means of distribution for video games since they're very complex. They require a bunch of different libraries, but you would always need libgl on the system. It would need to access the native libgl.
Pedro, do you know what's a very good way to distribute games?
Through Steam?
There you go. See, that we just solved a problem. LGC cares. I'm kind of looking at it like this. This is what Fedora is meant to do. Fedora was always, let's get the bleeding, cutting-edge stuff that is going to break, get it out there in the wild, get it tested. Now, admittedly, that is the Fedora of old. Because last time I installed Fedora, it just installed.
Everything works. Yeah.
It just
weird.
I was a bit disappointed. I kind of sat down, had my popcorn ready. I was like, okay, let's make this. And I was like, oh, man, that's boring. Anyway, Flatpak, I will throw my weight behind hoping. Well, there's no hoping. Flatpak's already won. All right. Mm-hmm. The universal, I'm not saying it's ever going to see wide adoption or we're ever going to actually pull this off, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But when it comes down to like Flatpak, whatever, app image, Flatpak's won. Game's done, over. And maybe we can start making some progress and moving forward. Venn at linuxgamecast.com if you would like to send me some lovely mail. But before we get out of here, as Pedro mentioned just a little early, is Windows.
Yep. Well, in this case, it's Linux on Windows. It's the very inappropriately named Windows subsystem for Linux, which, now that Strider isn't actually here on voice anyway, he is in chat realm, I will agree with him, but only now, because he does have a point. It's not a Linux... Well, it is a Linux subsystem for Windows, not a Windows subsystem for Linux. If you take the semantic meaning of that sentence, then you're basically describing wine. So, yeah, that's neither here nor there. It's just a little bit of a rant. The news here is that the WSL is out of beta, and you can get it on Windows 10 if you use Windows 10, or if you're forced to use Windows 10, probably for work. You can just get the WSL the moment the, what do they call it, the Creators Update goes live?
Yeah, man. They're going to take off the beta flag when the Fall Creators Update comes out. What is it? Maybe you're like, okay, Pedro just said a lot of words. Didn't make a lot of sense. I don't know. What can you do with this, man? You can run your Linux command line tools for development, basic system, and stuff like that. You know, you don't have to deal with like DOS prompt or what CGI win. A couple of things you can't do. Your Linux files are not accessible from Windows. Yeah, they are. They used like capital NO for this on their webpage, on their web zone. No current plans to support GUI apps, desktop servers, etc. ... at this time. He says, maybe question.
I mean, at this point, you have to question its usability at this time. But yeah, no, it'll be nice to see. Just
what are you talking about, man? Think about it. We don't need a Wayland. It's Microsoft's going to release its own X server-ish type thing.
Microsoft's what do they call the old Windows 7 one? Arrow or Metro from Windows 8 or whatever they call the Windows 10 one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Listen, I'm glad these tools are in existence because I know a lot of people personally and people who watch the show are stuck currently right now in the sound of my voice on Windows boxes administrating that, and this makes their life slightly easier, you know?
Yeah. If you are stuck with Windows at work and if my predictions are correct, I will probably, in the not-too-distant future, be that person. This is a way for you to have a familiar command line prompt and ameliorate the fact that you're still stuck with Windows. So, yeah. But, yeah, this, you know, besides the whole mind-blowing aspect of Microsoft providing a Linux subsystem through the official store, actively supporting it, and advertising it, this is a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. Do you know something that I feel very grateful to be stuck with?
Lovely, lovely people giving us money.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay!
Hey, man, if you want to support the show and you've been thinking about it, head over to linuxgamecast.com, hit that support button. We got a bunch of ways to do it. We have Patreon. That's awesome. That's a great way to get some value back for what we do if you find this is entertaining. Got some early access, some new videos, a custom RSS feed for your own private show that nobody else gets to listen to but you. Affiliate links. I want to scream Balmer like developers, UK, America, Canada, and Space France. click through that. That's all you have to do. Go to Amazon. You're going to buy everything anyway. We have the Amazon wish list of some stuff we would like some help with building out the new studio. That's great for everyone who's kicked in for that. Thank each and every one of you. And, of course, the PayPal donate buttons. Oh, and Bitcoin, because I've been told by every news outlet, every major news outlet that's funded by the government, they've been telling me all week that Bitcoin is dead. It's destroyed. So you're not going to. They're worthless, Pedro. Just send them all to us. We have a wallet. It'll be brilliant.
Yeah, you. If you saw anything about news that said that Bitcoin actual shot up in value when Ethereum dropped, just ignore that. That's fake news.
Huh? Well, they had the whole split that happened yesterday or something with Bitcoin Cash and all that. Yeah. That's too much to get into, but we can convert those coins. We're not going to save them if you've been sitting around going, oh, I need to invest. No, we're going to spend them and buy stuff to make the show better. But let's thank some beautiful, beautiful party people that kicked us a few shekels this week, man.
Indeed. Mr. Rando Corinthian kicked us some wet stinkies through PayPal. Thank you. We have a new Patreon. Yes, Mr. Norlin. I'm assuming that's how your name is pronounced. If not, let me know. And Casey. Casey increased his pledge. And more than that, Casey is awesome. Because as you may know from last weekend's Linux Gamecast Weekly, I had issues redeeming a certain game from a certain bundle that Venn gifted me. So
you weren't on the show last week. So what we were explaining is, the bundle came out and. Pedro just blew a bunch of money moving to this island for some reason, right? After I managed to get off, he just like, I'm going to head over that way. So I was like, yo, man, you want Pedro a copy of this? Because it's got a game in it that we wanted, and it was one of those things. I sent it over, man. And Pedro rings me up and he's like, girlfriend, check this out. And I'm like, what? Look at the screenshot.
Can redeem the game in the UK.
What? And Humble's like shrug emoticon, deal with it. So Casey was kind enough to kick that VPN so you could hack the planet. Yep. And,
I basically took a trip down to the pub. Casey had already sent me a message on Twitter. It's like, yo, here is the VPN. Got to the pub, told him, okay, gimme. Set up the VPN, activated the game on Steam. Told him, okay, you can stack the VPN credentials now. He did, and I got back into Steam, and the game downloads just fine. Humble, on the other hand, zilch. Contacted their support, nothing. Days have gone by, and they have said nothing.
But we do have the game. But thanks, everyone, making this possible.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you, Casey.
All of you. I mean, we're averaging I don't know what the magic moon word is, but it's always between 500 and 800 audio downloads every single week. And I'm lowballing on the 500 because I want to be safe. That's cool. Let's talk about pie.
Yes, we do have a couple of bit of slices of pie this week.
So, earlier this week, I saw somebody thinking, hey, man, you know what? I want to make a retro 486 gaming box. And after I immediately ran to the loo and vomited, it's a reflex reaction. You can't really help it when you hear somebody talk like that. I grew up cutting my hands on those sharp pieces of nope. I have no love for it.
I remember having to change autoexec.bat and config.sys in order to be able to run Doom and Doom 2. So no,
it definitely wasn't no hardware. Okay, no, maybe you didn't grow up with it and you want to do it for like the retro thing and all that. Go for it. But if you're just looking to emulate something that can do the 486 stuff, Raspberry X86. It's a project originally based on, I think it was for the DS X86, DS game emulator. What can it do? Trust me, it can give you all the headaches, almost 100% of the same headaches as setting up a 486 in 2017. It's capable of emulating ballpark 20 megahertz 486, so, what's a 40? That would be a 40 megahertz, i386. Doesn't say whether it be SX or DX. Joystick, you got it, 2 COM ports, MIDI interface, keyboard, Sound Blaster. and you can just throw that business on your Pi and get everything done. So
Yeah.
I would
And you
suggest
can
taking
run-
it here before you went the other way.
Yeah, it turns out you can actually run 16-bit, Win 16-bit games reasonably well on it, which I did not expect. But yeah, it's when you first posted this and I had a look at the blog, it's like the last update that they made was from 2015. So then you actually put it in the notes. Oh, right, yeah. Someone was talking about building a 486. Don't use the Raspberry Pi. Use our Pi x86.
Well, in all fairness, there haven't been major leaps in advancements in 486 emulation technology since 2015.
Yeah, fair. But they could, instead of just limiting it to 640 by 480 with 256, maybe get some of those 16-bit color games working as well.
Well, I think our second bit of Pi is more of just a celebration
More
of
Pi.
sorts. Yeah.
Just a lot of Pi, because with 14 million Raspberry Pis sold, 10 million were made in the UK. Yep. So Sony UKTC, the technology center, they were contracted a while back to produce Raspberry Pis, to make them literally. And the 5 years ago, their contract was for 10,000 units per year. Today, it's churning out about 15,000. So that's a pretty decent uptick, and considering how they're mostly out of stock, the Zeros, the Raspberry Pi 3s, the Zero Ws.
Listen, man, Pedro, it's their own fault. They keep making things that are way too cool and way too cheap, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's the mark of success right there. It's like, oh, it's a really neat project, and everyone wants some of it. Yeah. So they keep selling them like hotcakes, and they keep making them like hotcakes, and 10 million of which were produced by Sony UK Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's the most popular British-made computer in the world.
It is.
Yeah. So
It's at least the highest selling one.
no,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely good on that, and I say good on them. Keep going with it, because all the knockoffs, and they keep trying, but you still think Pi, and plus you want to give Pi the money too, because they got this ball going, man.
Yep.
You know,
They targeted the exact right niche. It's like those people who have children and they would like to get them into tinkering, or just big, huge nerds that have some free time on their hands and they wanted a tinker board so they could do something with. For those people that just have a monitor lying around their place, and they just grab a teeny tiny board computer, shove them inside the case of the monitor, and look, it's an all-in-one. That works too. Yeah, they did really, really good, and hey, they're very, very successful.
It's just a neat piece of kit. But
Yep.
we're about to wind this down. Put a bow on it, as they say, but if everyone wants to get in contact with us, maybe they have some questions, because we have a question this week, which actually kind of two questions.
Yes.
How do they go about that?
Well, you can go about that several different ways. If you see any of us on the street, you can ask us there. Chances are we won't remember when we get home, so it won't get featured on the show. So if you'd like to have your question actually featured right here, right now, linuxgamecast.com, you hit the contact button. Make sure to pick LWDW from the little drop-downy thing. Fill out the form. It's pretty easy. And send us your message. Send us your hints, thoughts, allegations, things better left unsaid, or disparaging remarks about our family members.
You know, Pedro, I had an interesting email thing.
You did.
Just earlier this week. It's how things are different now, because you wake up and you check your inbox. You're like, oh, look, unsolicited Steam keys for a video game.
Yes.
You just really want to be able to, like, phone, like, 12 or 13-year-old yourself and be like, dude.
One day you're just going to get free video games on your email. Like,
right.
What's email?
So, okay, coming up first, man, Cam Diggs. Yeah, all right. He wants to know, man. He's like, yo, Linux, learner here with a serious question. Okay, this is our air quote serious show. Tune in Saturday if you don't want any of this nonsense. Everyone says Linux doesn't need an antivirus. Yeah, would it be an? It should be an. Sorry. An antivirus. Shouldn't I run something? Question mark. Recommendations? Question mark.
Recommendations? Well, the thing with antiviruses and most software of that ilk is that they are meant to prevent infection by drive-by. It's those automated things that certain other operating systems do that make
Wait
them
a minute.
more...
I thought most antiviruses were to defend against you, the user. Being stupid.
You see, there is no antivirus for that. Well, there are. Actually, if you set... What was it called? Avira? If you set it to paranoid mode, it will actively fight you on everything you do. But yeah, most antiviruses, what they do is they protect you from those automated just infections that would happen without you, the user, doing anything. And that's a problem in those other operating systems that have a lot of automated stuff happening in the background, which is not the case with Linux. Linux is still very Unix-like in that most of everything serves one function, and chances are the user is aware of it, or should be, because most distros nowadays have some degree of automation to them. No one wants to, when they first hit
I just did a Google search. Turns out that Komodo provides a free protection Komodo antivirus for Linux.
Yeah, well, there is Komodo, there's ClimAV, there's actually several different antivirus programs that do run on Linux. And it makes sense because, say you're trying to recover someone's machine who was infected by viruses. What operating system do you load up on your teeny tiny flash drive and just fix their system? Linux. Makes sense. But yeah, it's if you want to be really safe, even if you do, say, go into shady websites and you do some gnarly stuff that will likely get you a virus on Windows, you will still get that virus on Linux. It might not do much of anything unless you give it root permission.
It probably won't do anything at all. Listen, Linux is not invulnerable. Macintosh really thought that until Mac became a large enough surface area to bother spending the time to attack them on. That's a true story. If you're coming over to Linux from Windows, yeah, people want things like what were we talking about, the like tools and Windows registry cleaners. They look for analogs of stuff like that, and that's not a good idea. Don't run as root. Make sure your router's set up logically, and you should be good. Because Wine doesn't
go to
do
those
a good
websites.
job of Wine doesn't do a good job of running viruses, so I don't think you're gonna have to worry too much about it. Last but not least, talking about DaVinci, Nick wrote in on the YouTube video. We made a little instructional video about how to get the DaVinci Resolve from Blackmagic to get their video editor up and running. And he's like, hey, mate, thanks for the video. Can you help? Okay, I'm getting errors starting. There are no CUDA cores detected. I'm running a GTX 780 with the NVIDIA driver 37582. First, I'd update that. And I've downloaded the CUDA tab from the website, followed instructions to the letter. Running Elementary OS Loki. Thanks in advance. I see a small problem.
Well, Elementary is basically Ubuntu.
Yes,
they have some differences, but it's basically Ubuntu.
Okay, you keep using this word that is the small problem. Basically. Because if it was, if you can't say was, that would have worked. Yeah, man, here's the thing. I don't say this in a mean way at all, in any way. You're not going to install just stock Ubuntu, which is in the title of the video. That this is how you install DaVinci on 1604 LTS. You're not going to install that. I'm not going to install Elementary OS.
So, something just occurred to me. Yes, you made that for an LTS.
Yeah.
They are running Elementary. which is
You
probably
see, Pedro, I love it when you just defined what basically meant. You did it. You did it, buddy.
Yeah, it's probably running more up-to-date libraries and would explain the CUDA mismatch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could very well be it.
That could be it. Hopefully you've checked out this show, and that's something you might want to check out. I'm not going to be updating that guide until I build the Ryzen system, which then I will be running 17 whatever. And it'll be a thing. Then maybe you'll know. But then again, I'll be honest with you. If I was going to be doing anything other than launching DaVinci Resolve, if I was just like, oh, I got it to run, look, I put a video in it and I'm done with it. If I was going to be doing work on it, install CentOS like you're supposed to and use it, because that's what I would do.
That's pretty stable, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I think that's going to do it. This is going to get us out of here. It's been brilliant. It's been fun. Thanks, everyone, for supporting the show and showing up, checking us out live, and all that fun stuff. Come check us out Saturday, where we do our gaming show, our big, super massive, like, wow, how'd this thing get so big type show. It is fun. We always have a gaming segment after that where we actually spend the time to hang around and get everyone in the community involved and come game with us. If you want to talk to me, at Venn Stone on Twitter, you can just type Venn Stone with Google, and you'll find me there.
I am Pedro Mateos. You can find me at Unaccounted For on Twitter and plus Pedro Mateos on Google+. Seriously, google.com/plus Pedro Mateos. When I first realized that you could use that as a short for people to find you, that's like, yeah, google.com domain. Hey.
And don't run just yet, because here come the credits.
Look at all those people. Look at them.
Beautiful party patrons. That's how you get your name in the credits for all time. And you'd be like, oh, man, what have I done? I made a horrible financial decision.
Yes, what have you done, Venn? Because we're going to get to a point where we'll have to sit here and talk waffle, basically, for 3 minutes until the credits go away. Or 4. Or 5.
That's fine, man. We'll come up with games. And listen, I'll slowly start reading War and Peace. It'll take a few years to get through it, but I'll see how much I can read through every credit.
Or you could just ad-lib Naruto Shippuden episodes.
Boop. All right, so let's stop the recording there and stop the recording here. All right.
Yeah, that is probably the version mismatch katana. It's they have the old long-lived branch 37582, when they should have the new what was the latest stable one was 38122, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I am on the beta. Yes, I am on the 384.59. Because I went to the pub and I downloaded the beta.
He lives. I could just imagine if Nori's like, "Oh, we just found a bookstore right across the street with 3 Wi-Fi." He's like, "Oh, gotta go to the pub. They got better speeds."
Well, we don't have bookstores. Actually, we don't have stores of any description in this road. It's just rich people farms with developments behind them.
I'm exporting all the things. Who's going to win, the 6.3 gigabyte video transfer or the 1.2 gigabyte audio export?
Depends on whether Audacity is doing that thing it does every now and again that it just takes a bunch of time to do.
That's what it's doing. Let's see.
Yeah.
About 6 seconds. File transfer beat up by about 6 seconds. All right, so we can close that. We can move that. Nope. We can't set. Wait. No, we can't set that shot up. Never mind. Cool.
Yeah. So,
Nothing exploded with our new switching setup.
Yeah, that worked. I guess now we know what to do with the Skype camera. We have to wait for it to flicker.
Well, hopefully we won't have to be using it much longer.
Oh yeah, hopefully, yeah. Next Wednesday, the engineer will be here to hook this thing up properly. Because you can't plug it in until activation day, and the engineer will have to ensure that everything is running, and you have to wait for 3 minutes while it gets updates from the network. Okay, that's a router. Yeah, and it's only got 2 Ethernet ports, which sucks. But 2 is admittedly what I need.
Let's see, what do we have? Rocket League is in the top 10.
Still, yes.
And Slime Rancher. Slime Rancher came out with Linux support, so...
Yeah, it's had Linux support since it came out in early access.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, The Long Dark, that has Linux support.
Yeah, that's just...
That's way too expensive for what it is, yes.
way too, I was going to say a crappier version of the Canadian survival game that we played.
Well, that is the OG Canadian survival game. It takes place in Canada.
Of course it does. Everyone thinks they're going to run to Canada. Canada is like Australia with snow, man. You're dead. Just let it go.
Yeah, instead of all the weird insects and the reptiles and whatever that wants to kill you, it's just the elements and the moose.
Right. I wonder if we can get a reaction.
Wasn't bread broken?
Oh, did Turbo Bread?
Yeah,
Not
I
feeling
think
so
I
good?
remember last Wednesday people were saying that bread was broken.
Oh, no, he's just
No.
taking a while. That's
Okay.
I think all the kitties are getting home. Oh, so it's like that? We got the yes and the no.
Is that Ace Ventura?
Was that? Oh, I remember seeing the first Ace Ventura in theater as a kid. So I don't think, Pedro, you were born yet.
Let's see. Ace Ventura. When did the first one come out?
Let's see.
Uh,
1994.
Oh yes, I had been born for 8 years at that point.
Yeah, close enough. Okay, let me go grab a soft beverage, and we'll hang out maybe for another 5 or 6 minutes so we don't burn up all Pedro's bandwidth.
Yes. Kind of needed it for Saturday.
Right. Be back in a hot second.
Yep. Mousse. It's kind of like that thing you do with chocolate, right? Or some people actually do it with fruit. Mousse. It's been over 2 weeks since I burned myself at the beach and my skin is still peeling. Oh yeah, you'll be peeling for month and a half. As long as there's a teeny tiny cell of burnt skin in there somewhere, your body is going to replace it and you're going to shed it. Let's see. The second one, yeah. Yeah, Strider doesn't really need to fake his hate for Turbo Brad. It's completely illogical, but it's genuine. Don't ask me. Let's see. And what have you lot been playing? Because I basically have been playing anything that works reasonably well in single player. I'm currently going through Dying Light. I finished a bunch of games already. And yeah, it's if you have any suggestions. Oh, Rust. No. Demon Peak. Oh, you seem to be the only one that liked Demon Peak, Strider. Why was that, Venn? Why was it that Strider? I haven't listened to last weekend's show yet. Why was Strider the only one who liked Demon Peak? Because I just looked at the chairs. I didn't even read the notes. I just looked at the chairs. It's like, oh, Strider, give it 4 across the board.
He's him.
I figured he was being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian. But ironically, the game still got a Strider at the end.
Gotta call Popey out. Popey must have really wanted in that Discord channel. Because he just became a patron.
Okay. Okay, Popey, awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, everyone think the Popester.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like Popester. You're gonna have to give me a week, man. I'll come up with an annoying nickname.
Hey, he already calls himself Popey.
I can go darker than that. Not on this show. Saturday's coming, son.
It's a Metroidvania, that's why 4 chairs. I'm usually okay with the more Vania Metroidvanias. The Hollow Knight was a very good example of that.
See, that's the cheering crowd right before Oprah covers everyone in bees.
Poopy is usually the alternative. I didn't even think of that. Okay.
How's that spelled? Let's see. Poopy?
Poopy.
Pertaining to complexity, incomprehensible. I can't figure out this poopy program. Oh, all right. Fair enough.
Okay.
Cheers on that one.
Urban Dictionary. Killing it.
So, what do you know? 4 weeks in Britannia, right?
2 days to 4 weeks, yes. So, basically, yeah.
Okay, well, it's the most British thing that you've eaten that was boiled, which is basically everything, and if it's not curry.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that make curry. There's a.
Why do you think I always say traditional UK curry, man? I mean,
it's let's see. From here to the pub, there are 2 places that make curry. One just makes a lot of fried stuff, as well as the curry. They call themselves Small Fry.
Ooh.
Yeah. Then there's across the street. There's actually an Indian/Bangladeshi restaurant. I've been meaning to go inside and ask the people there if they know a Sabarin.
Oh man, do you know? Like, there's gonna be a family photo right in the door. And it's just gonna be Norlin.
Where in the UK am I right now? Cambridge. Well, technically in the outskirts of Cambridge. It takes me about 10 minutes walking at a brisk pace.
You're in the country, son, is where you're at.
Yeah, it takes me 10 minutes brisk pace to get to the closest footbridge across the River Cam so I could get to city center. So, yeah.
You got that right, Popey.
Yeah, rent is cheaper where we are. Not much, but yeah, the rent is expensive here. But yeah, no, groceries and the rest of the stuff, that's actually about the same as we used to pay in Portugal. Because Portugal has problems. Old problems that run deep within that country. Internet's not one of them. Internet in Portugal is amazing, especially compared to the UK. I mean, where I am, I get no Virgin, I get no Zen, I get none of the good providers. So I'm stuck with DSL when they come to set it up.
You could get BT though, man.
BT, Sky, TalkTalk, GIF-GAF, they all use OpenReach. Mm-hmm. It's all the same backend. So if I'm going to get crap for a backend, I'm going to get the crap that costs me the least a month. And yeah, they will actually, once everything is activated up and running, I will get a £75 prepaid MasterCard that I can use for whatever. So basically they're paying me to use Sky. That's fine.
I don't know. Sky's kind of... my favorite thing about watching Sky is whoever's running the TriCaster at Sky. they're always about a second off. All the reporters who are doing actual live have to sit there for that 3 to 4 seconds of like staring at the camera, like, get off me, get off me, and it finally goes off.
Yeah, Popey, Wimpy suggested that I get in touch with Zen because he's using Zen right now, and where he lives, apparently it's a pretty good alternative. Here, they don't have any support in this area. They would like me to pay them £180 just to set up a line, and then after that, I would have to pay another $60 for basically any package I wanted from them. So yeah, no, I didn't really want to pay £240 just to get maybe the same kind of crap DSL internet that I get for £19 a month from Sky. Yeah.
I don't know. There's another company in town, believe it or not, that has offered to run Ethernet to my house.
There is, what are they called? Bridge Fiber. Mm-hmm. They're sort of one of those very exclusive ISPs. And the interview I went to today is for their sister company, Bridge Partners.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bridget Fiber.
So, yeah, it's maybe I'll be able to say, yo, you guys are an ISP. You want to hook me up?
They will laugh. No, this company was interesting. I kind of looked at them. They just do business only, and they got business prices, man. Like, even their, like, 10-1 Ethernet 2 people. Mm-hmm. You know, so what would that be? You know, a full meg up would be nice, which would we have 780. It was like $399.
Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah,
$400.
Yeah,
for just 1 meg up. We have 7.5 megabits up right now. Mm-hmm. We almost have a full meg.
Can almost push 1 megabyte up.
Well, I should qualify that with we can absolutely do 1 megabyte up if their throttling doesn't kick in correctly, which I've managed to witness a few times.
Like, what's he doing? I don't know. Okay, don't throttle that just yet. Mm-hmm. Wait and see.
I do think Charter, Spectrum, they have something set up on the network to prioritize. If you're sitting there humming and humming and humming on it, uploading something, it's like, all right, just get this guy off the network. Because you'll watch it, it hits like 730 up, then it'll just go to like 4 megabits. Well, not 4 megabits, 4 megabytes.
Yeah.
Until it's done. Then you're like, ooh, I'm going to get this other stuff up. And then it goes back to what it was.
Yep. No, we just wanted you to get off so we could be sure who you were and what you were doing. Now we know.
But yeah, for anyone out there, if you're looking, trust me, we're not getting sponsored by this because of what I'm about to tell you next. I will guarantee that the Vantech USB stereo, we're using 2 of them right now for the show. If you're looking for a DAC with audio out, Pedro's coming over. This one supports Linux out of the box, works with Pavu control. I think these were like £7 a piece. But if you want to be wicked cheap, you can go to Fastech and you can find this exact piece of kit without the Vantech stamped on it.
Oh, you're
and you can get a 2-pack for $8. So,
yeah.
And you'll probably have to wait 3 weeks to a month to get it, but
oh yeah. There was I can't remember what website it was. I think it was Deal Extreme. That had this headset has a CM108 audio deck for working as USB, and I saw a CM108 audio deck, just the USB dongle for sale on DX, and it comes with the full surround plug system support. So if you have a big 7.1 surround, you can use it.
There it is. Popey's got the aluminium external, same thing. Yeah, tech. Yeah, it's the exact same thing, probably. This one just has a Vantech slapped on it. But yeah, it's not too bad.
That's the Amazon UK version. Yep.
Free delivery.
$5.49. Yeah, free delivery. How long will that take? Free 1-day delivery with this order with a free trial of Amazon Prime. No, without Amazon Prime, I can't afford Amazon Prime right now. I'm broke.
You get a free trial, man. You got 1 month. So what you do is you subscribe, then you immediately go, okay, Google, set an alarm for Amazon Prime in 29 days.
I could just make a virtual credit card with that expires in a month, basically.
I get everything shipped with Amazon, so I have Prime. It somehow save money.
Oh, I will at some point when I finally have a job and I have some income to speak of. I will probably get Prime, maybe get proper Netflix or UK Netflix, which is better than Portugal Netflix. Go figure. Yeah.
It's Amazon they're doing a fantastic job of extracting money. Especially when you're getting close to Prime renewal and you're like, man, I better give them more money in order to justify
giving them money.
Sometimes you get deal. It's convenience, though, man. You can get something in 24 hours, done.
Oh, Canonical's hiring. Okay, if I apply for anything, Popey, I will let you know.
Katana, for some reason, since I upgraded to 316 to 4.4, my UBS audio stopped working. Man, if our USB audio stopped working on this box, we wouldn't have any audio.
Ooh, yeah, that's breaking LGC right there.
I mean, granted, at one point, we had 2 physical sound cards on top of the DACs. We've converted everything over to DACs. And don't use a USB mixer, though. We still use an analog mixer. And 1, 2, 3, 4... What do we... I got 5 DACs plugged in total.
Yeah.
Hulu's the one thing I can't do, man. There's just nothing on Hulu that...
There never was. I mean, there was South Park. What else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see, I have a VPN, and see, South Park used to be on South Park Studios because Trey and Matt got tired of having to pirate their own TV show to watch it, and you could just go there and watch it all the time. Then I was like, oh man, that's rough. But everywhere else in the entire world, you can just go to the South Park Studios country version and just watch it like you could at the old web zone. Or, I'm just saying, man, maybe you got Plex installed, maybe you install a South Park TV channel, and maybe just all the episodes show up and you don't question it too much. That also works very well.
Yeah, they used to have it on Comedy Central for a while. And those were actually available worldwide, which was weird because Comedy Central does that whole, oh no, you can only watch it if you're in the US.
And the big thing is they still have commercials unless you pay for like a extra premium tier. Now, Jill, yes, they got Rick and Morty, but so does the Cartoon Network. Or is it Cartoon Network, Rick and Morty?
It's not Cartoon Network. It's,
Who is it? I thought
Adult Swim?
Comedy. I don't know. You see, it's 2017. It doesn't matter what network it's on. Whoever's network it is, they have it on their actual web zone. You just go to the website and watch it.
I think it's Adult Swim, yeah.
That Adult Swim's part of Cartoon Network.
Okay, then yeah, sure.
I'm not this is not a hill I'm prepared to die on. This is just.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm still running a ancient 4.4 kernel as he types in uname-r 4.4 not, yeah. Everything. USB audio and Linux with Pavu control is just.
Well, it's easy mode nowadays, yes.
Brilliant.
I remember having to deal with ALSA and just getting it to use the correct device, please, this time.
It was kind of fun because I bought these two DACs, and of course they had the same identifier, the exact same.
Yeah.
there was like 30% of me is like, the one's going to be like, one and want to have a slightly different name. No, ALSA picked him up and fed it to Pavu control. It's like, same exact thing. Turns out, with a bit of trickery, I need to make this post. I'll probably make a video. You can rename devices in the config that Pulse Audio reads from ALSA to get the identifier.
Mm-hmm.
So you can name them, Pedro is a sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
Huh.
But of course, if you unplug it, then you will have to.
Oh no, these things are. Nope. It comes up. It saves it to the actual profile. So
okay, that's neat.
Once it picks up the device identifier, that's like boom.
Okay,
That
all right.
Which I'm not changing anything else because I'm used to the moon readings, like the CM106 like device. I know exactly what that is.
Bye, Steve.
Oh, Steve, hope you had a good lunch in Space LA 432150. Took a late lunch, son.
Yeah, maybe it gets like an hour at lunch. So it was from 1 to 2.
Man, I've never had a job that had a. I could always take lunch, but there was never like a scheduled lunch. That's some nightmare fuel right there for me because I don't eat during the day. So you have an hour.
An hour for fucking around.
It's like, can I continue working and leave an hour early? No. It's like, oh, that's mean, man.
I actually did that. At Bidirco. Especially during the internship. It's like, what if I don't have a dedicated lunch hour? Just eat quickly and get immediately back to work?
This was, back when I was flying all around deploying Sun Solutions. And at a legitimate factory that went, man, like the buzzer. And everyone's like, lunchtime. I was like, listen, all right, that's like Turbo Wicked 1980. I dig it on that level. But, yeah, I don't know. I've never had a job like that. I'm not saying anything bad about.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with 9 to 5s. In fact, I could use one right now. I've been going.
I guess Pedro can pay attention to it. I'm in the show notes at 4:50 in the morning. That's not me being up late. That's me waking up in the morning.
Yeah, I don't sleep as little as Venn. I'm fine if I sleep for like 6 hours. I'm fine. If I sleep for 8 hours, I will be like grumpy and I don't want to wake up. It's just
if I sleep for 8 hours, I got a massive hangover. And that's not really sleep. That's like where you wake up after 5 hours and your body's like, all right, here, I'll make you a deal. I'll let you get up and see straight enough to get some water, but you're coming back and you're going to lay back down.
Yeah, you get some water, you pee, and you lay back down.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's now that I've been very much unemployed and I've been all over the place just handing out resumes by hand, and the rest of the time it's just, okay, let's look for jobs on the interwebs. And so I get up and I get a little bit lazy. So I turn on the hotspot on the phone and I'm on the tablet, laying in bed still.
And Popey, if you're looking for a link to the Discord, it's on the Patreon page. It's just up at top right-hand corner in that first $1 tier.
You could just click on it. It'll give you a Patreon's only post with the link.
What do we got going on? Torrenting. Yeah, man. Got to get all my Linux ISOs.
Yeah. That's what torrents are for, right? I mean, everything else, you just go to the local video store.
Oh, man. Ethical piracy.
I have caught up with the Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched the new Rick and Morty yet. I have it. I have rented it. I just haven't watched it.
I watched it. Got caught up on Game of Thrones either yesterday. I think Monday I got caught up on Game of Thrones. I'm watching it because of. I can also watch Westworld.
Oh yeah, you renewed your.
I get that's kind of the
HBO.
What I like to call ethical piracy, man. If I can pay for it,
yeah.
If you give me an option to pay for it, I'll wait. Mm-hmm. I'll be cool. Now, in all fairness, I could have just bought the episodes of Westworld, but I was like, I can save money if I wait, and then I can binge watch it when Game of Thrones comes out because I get HBO Go or HBO Now, whichever one it is. I don't know. It's the one that works on my tablet. But yeah, I wasn't terribly impressed by the robot Western.
It's not. People were kind of hyping it up when it first came out. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's not Game of Thrones level good, but it's not terrible. It's a perfectly nice, watchable bit of television.
I think it loses a bit of something when it's not so massively overhyped and everyone's not talking about it.
Yeah, it doesn't lose something. It retains something for a bit longer because then it becomes the cult hit.
If you say so, man.
Yeah, it's you can see that with video games. Fallout 1, Fallout 2, before Bethesda got their AAA mitts on that series. Those first two games were like the cult hits. They weren't all that well known. Some people would know about them, but until Fallout 3 came out, Bethesda pushed it out. No one really knew about Fallout 2 or Fallout 1 all that much. There was just certain specific cliques, niches that knew about them that actually knew the game and enjoyed the game. And, well, I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Fallout 2 because It's my all-time favorite game.
Let's one thing I want to do. Let's get a boop-a-doop quick screenshot so we're mugging for the album art.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to like mug for the camera real quick, we'll get a. All right, good enough for government work.
Okay.
Burp. Wow, we went from Bill Murray to Trump, really?
Ghost out of the machine. What the hell, Turbo Brad?
Oh man.
That's your fault too, Norlin.
I'm just saying, Brad's got a dark streak in him, dude. That's it.
All right. Oh no, they did not.
What?
Team Dragon, last couple of weeks, not doing too good.
Team Dragon.
Yeah.
Is that something I'm supposed to know?
Yeah. I don't know, what were we talking about that involved dragons?
I don't know.
Well, wyverns, technically, because they don't have 4 paws, they just have the 2 hind paws.
Depends on what version of dragon you're talking about.
You know, the ones with wieners. Can't make it any more specific than that without just saying Game of Thrones.
Dragoons. I don't know, man. Game of Thrones is its own thing. Just watching it to watch it end at this point. I mean, it's still alright, but...
Well, now they have all the freedom they want, basically.
Yeah, and I'm going to dance around any spoilers, but everyone's like, oh, those two people that I'm not going to mention by name, they should get together. And I'm like, you do realize that she's his aunt, right?
Yep. She is literally his aunt.
I'm just... Keep that in mind, people.
Then again, well, I mean, that's nothing new in the series. You have Pretty Boy and Sarah Connor going at it.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But then again, you have 2 Sarah Connors in Game of Thrones. Yeah, one of them is the aunt we were just talking about.
Oh, we'll see how it plays out, Maddie. There's no telling, but that is going to put us right at 2 hours for the live stream.
Yes.
So I'm going to prance off mainly because it is 5 p.m. and I got to turn this into a podcast so people can listen to it and they don't send me mail like, hey, Venn, where's that podcast? I'm like, oh, man.
Mm-hmm. They scream at you. It's like, yo, podcast.
And I'm just like, it's on my computer. Actually, it's on my NAS. Come get it. I'll be waiting. I will leave the gate open. Okay,
all right.
Thursday's coming up. We've ordered a Homo Fire Murderator 9000 for Jordan's audio chain. So hopefully that nightmare stuff will go away also when he learns not to touch audio cables once you go live, period, no matter what.
Stop fiddling with the plugs.
Right? It's like clang. I'm like, oh. And so Thursday, tomorrow, he will hopefully be streaming something. If the equipment doesn't show up, we'll still be streaming something. I'll just stream it from here. And like last week, we did Left for Brad. Sandman joined us. Got an episode out of that, and we hung around. So we'll be doing something. It might even be golf with your friends. Who knows?
Gilf with your friends?
Yeah, maybe Pedro can go to the pub. He can join in.
Actually, I do need to go to the pub and download that game because I have an update paused on offline Steam for the 4 weeks I've been here, mostly.
This is just when you're writing your biography. This was the point where I became a raging alcoholic because I didn't have internet access. I was forced to go to the pub, which caused me to develop.
I need internet that I can download things with. So yeah, I went to the pub and I have a beer. I go there, I have a beer. That's it. It's a 6.2 beer, but good beer.
Yeah, oh, my beer is not 0.5 these days. It's technically it has alcohol in it. Might as well just drink the kombucha tea. It's
no, that 6.2 one isn't actually beer. It's a flat ale, but it's really good.
Oh, you're turning into you're one of those people now?
No, it doesn't have, bubbly stuff. So it's really good. I don't care what it's called. I don't want to know what it's made out of. I don't care what you say it tastes like. I know that I like the taste, and it's got a shit ton of alcohol in it. That's it.
6.2. All right.
Okay, maybe it's not a shit ton, but it's sizable. It's like Portuguese level beer. It's proper beer.
All right. Okay. Lightweight. Beautiful people, we will see you for this show next week. Until then, linuxgamecast.com, hit the schedule button. That's where things appear. Or I guess maybe you're watching us live, so you're watching us on the YouTubes. If you subscribe to that and hit the notifications button, you'll just know when we go live, because it goes, hey, these guys are going live.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing that happened. I think we have like 2,100 and some people subscribing for a YouTube channel that we've plugged probably a total of 9 times in 5 years. So, progress.
Yeah, we used to start the show with like youtube.com/linuxgamecast. Not anymore.
It's still a place. If it's your thing, we are there. All right.
Bye.